The Karen Show. The Karen Show. The Karen Show. Let's go. Let's go. The Karen Show.
Hey, everybody. As you can see from the background, I have moved from one area to the other in my house. I'm now back in the garage. So we could at any time be invaded by cats, children being noisy, or who knows. It's a guest today. So we'll see what happens. But welcome in, Enzo. Hello, Enzo. Here he is. So yeah, hey. Oh, noise already.
At the moment, I'm sober, so I don't make weird noises either. So.
No, Enzo won't make any noises. So we're live in the garage. I think we'll be all right. The most you might hear is a meow from a cat, or see one jump up on its cat thing, or whatever.
Is that what that is? A little bird?
Yeah, it's just a little bird hanging like that they can play with. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you that there with the curtains up. That's all of my garage shelving, and I've got a pet hate of being able to see anything on shelving, so that's why I've got little curtains there. Behind me is a sofa and the TV, and what else have we got? Oh, and the pink cupboard thing, that's the cat food supplies. And yeah, so it's a pretty big garage, and off to the side that you can't see is a treadmill and another desk set up which belongs to my daughter. So yeah, might as well make the use of it. And besides, as I was explaining to Enzo, I'm close to the modem or router because I'm absolutely sick to death of glitching. So let's see how it goes today. Oh, hello, Dawny. Hello. Yes, it was more fun back in the day. I was looking at some more stuff this morning. Hey, Laura. I was looking at we had a show in Australia called Hey, It's Saturday. And everyone tries to compare it to Saturday Night Live, but it was nothing like Saturday Night Live. It was more like a cross between a talk show and a skit show, more like the Carol Burnett show, something like that, lots of skits. But it was more like Daryl and Ozzy was an ostrich, would have their desk. They'd invite guests out. They'd talk to people. Then they might have a talent show on, or they might have some kind of skit that they'd filmed earlier, stuff like that. And when it first started, Hey, It's Saturday was a cartoon show on a Saturday morning. And that's where I fell in love with Top Cat and Top Cat. And who else was it I loved? Oh, I don't know if anyone remembers Marta Hairy and Lancelot Link, the chimpanzees. It was the Lancelot Link. I think it was the Lancelot Link show, or maybe just Lancelot Link. But Lancelot Link was a detective, and Marta Hairy was his co-host. So I used to love that. But I looked at a few scenes of it the other day, and I can't play anything because I'll get done for copyright. But you can look at it later. Just type in Lancelot Link and Marta Hairy, not Marta Hairy as in properly spelled hairy as in hair. And
chimpanzees.
Chimpanzees, yeah.
And costumes is really what it is.
Yeah, chimpanzees and costumes. But I think to myself, I hope they were really nice to the chimps, because imagine trying to get them changed all the time out of their gear. Yeah. Like they had them driving cars, using telephones. Chimps are friggin' smart though. But and these looked like full-grown chimps. They didn't look like baby chimps. They looked like 5 foot, 6 foot, whatever they normally are. Yeah, we didn't have I don't know if we had the Carol Burnett show here, Dawn. I know that I saw it, so we may have well had it, because we never had the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson here. We didn't have anything like that here because we had our own, but everyone knew who he was. So anything that I watch now, I watch as in I've seen as an adult, the Johnny Carson show and the Carol Burnett show, classic. I love Carol Burnett, all the skits that they did. But yeah, I was just reminiscing. I think with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, you can't even crack a joke. You can't even.
No, you were mentioning Carol Burnett, and I was thinking, man, Tim Conway and Harvey Korman would have me in stitches as a kid. All in whatever the skit was, whatever it was they were doing, I'd be laughing at like Tim Conway all the time.
Oh, Tim Conway, he was one of the funniest. And you look back on, and I was talking, I can't remember who too, might have been you, Enzo. I was talking to someone the other day. Actually, it might have been when we had Lewis on, how they're cutting things out of old movies now. So all of the far left sooks that, ooh, he insulted me, or she said the wrong word, bloody grow a skin, will you? Get fair income. But anyway, but they've taken some classic movies that are timeless and just chop it out, like Crocodile Dundee. There's a famous scene in the first movie, or not a famous scene, a scene where he comes to America and he's in one of your American bars, and there's this woman, he's chatting her up, and all the men in the bar are giggling and saying, mate, no, it's a man. And Hogs is like, what? And then he goes over and he grabs the crutch of the woman that he thinks is a woman and realizes, and he walks away and he goes, oh, that's Sheila. That's a woman. Like, I told ya, ha ha ha. And no one back in the day, and not even now, I watch that and I take no offense at all. And I have no idea why anyone would take offense at that. Nowadays I do, because they're all stupid. Like nowadays, honestly, God help the world once certain age groups are gone. It's just stupid, but well, Dawny says about Carol Burnett, some of it was pretty corny, but it was hilarious, and sometimes cheeky, but not obvious. Oh, for sure. All the little jokes that would be, you look back now, I was watching Johnny Carson, and he had Jane Fonda was on as his guest, and she was talking about one of the actresses. Oh my God, she was in Green Acres.
Ava Gabor?
Ava Gabor's sister, Zsa Zsa. Apparently, so the story goes, Zsa Zsa Gabor was on the Johnny Carson show, and she took her cat, and she had her cat on her lap. Now, this is a story, and I have not, and later I'll get to it, but she had the cat on the lap, and she said something or other about, do you want to pat my pussy? To which Johnny Carson says, or if you move that cat off your lap, sure, right? now, later on, I haven't been able to find that, so I actually don't think that happened. I think that's a legend, because the clip I found was Johnny talking to Jane Fonda, who asks him about that, and the crowd laughs, and she could even say that then. It didn't get bipped out. Nowadays that would get bipped out, right? And he laughed and he said, I'm pretty sure it didn't happen, because he said, I'm pretty sure I would remember that. So I sort of think to myself, such it is. But there's so many things. I think what's happened, I'm just getting sad, because I watch all the stuff I used to watch back in the day that made you laugh. And Australians have been, I don't know, probably even Americans were, but Australians are known for taking the mickey out of themselves, much as Irish people are. English people used to do the same. You make fun of yourself and you laugh. Like, there's humour to be found in everyday life, and that's what it used to be like. So you might say something, just, sure, there were things that were high pocket watch. Sure, there were things that were, oops, yeah, maybe you shouldn't say that. Like, there was nastiness back then, but there's always been nastiness. But on the whole, everybody could laugh at themselves and see when it was humour. But not anymore. You got to be careful what you say, because people get so offended. I saw the other day a child in a school there in America. The family sued because the girl went to school and saw a showing of Helter Skelter. I don't know what grade she was in. I'm assuming not kindergarten, but she saw a screening. Had a screening of Helter Skelter, the documentary, in school. They could discuss things. Apparently the girl was so traumatized by watching that they sued the school and the teacher and won. So she got a payout. I can't remember what it was now, something ridiculous. She got a payout. I'm like, fair income, what's the world coming to? Like, honestly. So, yeah, next thing, I don't know, but who knows? Oh, there's Heather. I want to pat Mrs. Slocum's pussy. I hear is very. Yes. See, Heather gets it. There used to be a show called, oh, God, what's it called? Heather? I'm thinking some mothers do have them. It was an English show. Heather will tell me what it was called. I've forgotten. It took place in a department store, so it was all about the department store workers. And there was a gay guy. There was Mrs. Slocum, who was always talking, are you being served? That's it. Are you being served was the name of the show. So Mrs. Slocum would, she'd usually come in late and say, oh, I'm late. My poor pussy got wet in the rain and blah, blah, blah. And that's how she'd talk. So there was always that she was talking about her cat, but she said pussy. And then, the gay guy'd come up with jokes, and it was just freaking hilarious, The noise in the background is a child rustling something. Apologies if you can hear it. So that's the thing. Like, you could make jokes and you could just laugh. People knew how to laugh at themselves, and not take offence. And obviously, and Heather would probably agree. Obviously, actually, Heather, I would love your opinion on that scene in the Crocodile Dundee movie that's been cut. The scene where, I don't know if you heard me talking about it, but the scene where Paul Hogan's character is thinking he's gotten lucky. He's gotten lucky. He's going to pick up this chick and take her back to the hotel room, and the chick isn't a chick. And then someone warns him, and he goes up and grabs the chick by the groin and goes, it's a man. They've cut that out now, Heather. That's been absolutely chopped from the movie. And there was another movie too that they've done. You need to watch it. It's free. You've never seen Crocodile Dundee, and call yourself an Australian.
That was required. You may get kicked out of the country.
Viewing. Yeah, required viewing, Heather. But they've done
to
it
this day. That's how a lot of Americans view Australia.
Still to this day. Well,
Yep.
he used to. Actually, his ads, Paul Hogan's ads for tourism, Australia were forever the highest. Like, that's what got people to come to Australia. His things.
Most Americans think you guys just drink Foster's beer. Somehow there's a bloomin' onion involved and all of that. From the
and prawns and shrimp on the barbie. Except back then when he made that was very much for the Americans, because we didn't have shrimp on the barbie. We had prawns, and mostly it would be probably lamb chops and steak on the barbie. And what do you reckon, Pocket Watch? I mean, I don't know. I'm not in a position to comment completely, but I couldn't imagine you'd take offence at that, no matter who you were. It was just funny. I don't know. But anyway, maybe I'm strange. But put another shrimp on the barbie. We don't say that here in Australia because we don't eat shrimp. We eat prawns, I tell you, prawns. To us, shrimp are the little ones.
The thing was like this big.
That's a prawn to us, and you call it, I think, shrimp, but I don't know. But our prawns are, decent size or, pretty big. Like shrimp. Yeah, shrimp are the tiny ones, like the little tiny ones you might get mixed in with your fried rice at the Chinese restaurant. But we didn't, it wasn't really in America, but it was okay because the Americans understood it, and lots of people come to visit Australia, and we haven't. The only thing that's really changed in Australia, honest, is, the only thing, Australia is still Australia, but we're not allowed to be funny anymore. We're not allowed to take the mickey.
That's kind of everywhere, but
it's
I
everywhere.
feel like it's starting to make a comeback. Last week, there was like a clip or a upcoming, they're remaking the Naked Gun series, and with what's his name?
Liam Neeson.
Neeson. And just watching the little video clip, the little teaser preview thing for it, it was hilarious. It's like, oh yeah, if they stick with that same level, there will be some hand waving on the internet when it comes out, and it will be glorious.
Yeah, it should be funny. There. Oh, there. I have a yes. Pocket watch. It was in context. So it's like the thing. Shrimp to us are the river prawns. Does that make sense to you, then, Enzo? Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I saw the clip of that. I don't know if anyone else has seen the clip of the new Naked Gun, but I did. I thought it was hilarious when he's looking at the picture of Dad. So obviously, Leslie Nielsen's dad, um, and then everyone's looking at the pictures of the old cast basically as Dad, and then it gets to the O.J. Simpson one, and the guy playing, I guess, his son looks at the camera and goes.
That was great.
I like the scene. Oh, Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks. Is that the one you're talking about? Yes, they do have a scene in that as well. They do. That was a good old Tom Hanks when he actually had a sense of humour. Amazeballs. Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Young Tom Hanks.
Dawny says she's tired of remakes of movies that you just can't remake. I don't know about. Yeah, I don't know either. But based on the, I don't know if you've seen it, Dawn. Look it up. Based on the short clip of it, it looks like it could be in the same sort of genre of comedy.
Yeah, a lot of sight gags, a lot of misinterpreting what someone says into something else, and a lot of double entendre. Stuff like that. Something like that, I feel you could do that. Yeah, it is a continuation.
It is
because they're basically the kids of the
original cast. Yeah, but yeah, the only thing I found a little bit like more than I wanted to see was where Liam puts his leg up, and you can see his undies, and I'm like, let's see what. Yes. Heather's talking about the scene in Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks. The guy has intimate relations with a cross-dresser and sees her pee standing up. She's a he and he's a she. LOL. Cracks me up and scrubs his doodle in it. Yes. But that's what I mean. You got to laugh at that stuff, because if you laugh at it, look, I don't know. I kind of think the way it's gone at the minute, you can't make a joke about anything. Oh, you're upsetting someone, or that's insulting. Sometimes laughing at things that are different helps in a good way, not in a nasty. I don't mean nasty. I don't mean, but in a good way, kind of makes other people more comfortable talking about it. So where someone might be uncomfortable touching on a subject because, I don't want to upset anyone or whatever, if there's a kind of a joke about it, oftentimes if you can laugh at yourself and you can laugh at something else without ill intent, just a giggle, I think it just makes it just makes for an easier life. You just, that people aren't trying to be mean, and the ones that are trying to be, you're going to get mean people no matter what you do. Oh, my phone, I better turn it down. You're going to get mean people all the time. So it really doesn't matter. But for you can't, mean people will just be mean. It doesn't really matter. Do you know what I mean? So just joke about it and be happy. Dawny says that she's got a digital antenna so she can pick up MeTV for free. It plays all the old stuff. Oh, MeTV.
Here in the U.S., there's a surprising number of free over-the-air broadcast channels that you can get. There's one. It's basically they show like old cop shows and old action type shows, and they actually have a whole block where they play all the Star Trek shows. Ooh. There's the original Star Trek at this hour, then the Next Generation, then Deep Space Nine, then Voyager, and then Enterprise. Where like the whole night, you're from like 7 to 11 at night, you've got all the Star Trek you want, kind of a thing. Broadcast, it's still broadcast TV. You still have, the commercials that you have to sit through and things like that.
Hey, Mark.
But there's some pretty good programming out there for free that basically you can just, put a coat hanger on your old TV and watch it.
And jump back on the time machine and go back to a much honestly, with the reason I've been watching a lot of old TV, but it gets me sad because I watch the old TV. I was watching I was watching some Hey Hey It's Saturday this morning. I actually shared a clip on my Facebook, but it was it was taken from this. We have a store here called Bunnings, right? And again, I would play the clip for you, but I can't. I'll get copyright hit. We've got a store in Australia called Bunnings, which is your big hardware store. I don't know what your equivalent in America is, where it's just all hardware and garden supplies, building supplies. Like it's a massive store, Bunnings. And this particular skit is one of the regular comedians on Hey Hey It's Saturday pretending to be a Bunnings worker assisting the customers. There's a few funny things in it, but he gets to doorbells. And the fella goes, oh, yeah, I need a new doorbell. And he goes, oh, yeah, we've got doorbells. And he's pushing on the doorbells to show him the different sounds. And then he goes, now this is one, if you don't want, if Jehovah Witnesses seem to be a bit of a nuisance, oh, that'd be beaut. Can I push it? Oh, yeah, all right, if you really want to. So the guy pushes the Jehovah Witness thing and blows up.
Oh, no.
He's gone. Yeah, I know. Heather must have just seen it. And there's a few other things. And then he goes along later. They're looking at doors, and he goes, oh, no. He goes, at the moment, got a special. This door comes with 3 Mormons. And you open the door and 2 Mormons go. Like it was just, and I'm just laughing. And I just thought, I don't think you're allowed to do that anymore because people go, oh, they're picking on me.
Yeah, someone would be upset about it. Yeah.
And there was one, you have to find it later on my Facebook page if anyone's on my face. I think I shared it to my group. But there's a whole heap, but there was another one that made me laugh. I can't remember what it was because I was getting distracted, but I look back and there's a homeless person, or as in Australia we used to refer to them as a dero, as in a derelict.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, oh, at the moment, if you get that, I think it was for pellets, wooden pellets. Or at the moment, if you get this, there's a free special. You get a free dero with every pellet sold or something like that. And you see this drunk fella up on he goes, oh, come out the back. We've got a selection of deros.
Oh.
I'm thinking it was funny. Nobody says that you can't take sympathy for people that are living on the streets, but it was just funny. I love you too, Heather, and thank you for being a member for 11 months. Awesome. Oh, dear.
I feel, a lot of those older shows, that were on broadcast TV, if you didn't have, cable, if you go back that far, yeah, it's always on. But it ended up being like a communal kind of a thing to talk about whatever show you watch.
At the water cooler on the Monday morning. Yeah.
Like, hey, did you see Carson last night? He had on Buddy Hackett and he wrecked the place, whatever it was. Or, did you see Airwolf or whatever the show was that you enjoyed back then, which it was on a very specific time. You had to watch it because it didn't do a rerun, or there wasn't any way to watch it until maybe they would repeat, the show in the summertime when they weren't making new shows, that kind of thing. So you kind of had to watch it, and on your 3 or 4 channels that you had on your TV, that's all we had. There was no streaming or any of that other stuff. Where fast forward today, there could be a really good show that might come out on like a streaming channel or something like that. And if it's really good, you're going to watch the entire season all in one setting. Like if it's on Netflix, where they just dump all of it at the same time. Well, you still can't talk to your friends about it because they may not have seen it yet. You're going to ruin it if you talk about it. So you got to wait for them to catch up. They're busy. They have their own life. They may only catch like a couple episodes. They're like, oh, there's this one episode I really want to talk about. By the time they get up to it, you're past it and it's gone. And it's like, yeah, oh yeah.
I don't know. I think I don't know what they called it in America. Heather might, but did you guys? I know America and England got Prisoner, which was a show that was on in the 70s. I think it finished in the 80s. But yeah, that was a show to watch. That was. Do you
Did you have
remember?
like a
Heather?
giant white ball that would chase you around on the playground?
Hey, hey, um, how you cruising is fun anytime. It is. It would be. I wish I could go on a cruise. Maybe I will. Heather, do you remember? See, because this was an Australian show, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh no, I am wrong. The theme song. I was just going to say it for whatever reason. Mark Holden, an Australian singer back in the day, um, popped into my mind. But no, he was in the show. Doctors. We had lots of shows like that you'd watch in the 70s, but all good. You know, I hope that common sense comes back to the world, and people again can make jokes about stuff without. It's just tricky. I don't know. I put a post up the other day. I don't know if Heather saw it, but um, young doctors. Thank you, Heather. Yes, I wanna make you my lady, make you my lady. That was the song that Mark Holden sung, and he had red carnations, and he'd throw them out at the girls in the audience. Geez, he was cute back in the day. But yeah, but even here at the moment, it's a bit tricky in Australia because down in Victoria, only Victoria at the moment, a new law has come out that you make, well, I didn't say make a joke, make a comment about anything at all about a minority group. So you make a comment, be it no matter what the comment, if that minority group takes that comment as being offensive, the person who made the comment will be prosecuted. So you'll get a knock, knock, knock on your front door, and the police will, hey, you said this on Facebook. Hey, you said this on TikTok. Hey, you made a video saying this. You're not allowed to do that. You're going to be prosecuted under the law. And it's massive, like it's jail time. And that got snuck through late one night in the Victorian Parliament. And it's pretty scary. So I've even seen a few comedians. I've looked a little bit, but thinking, well, shit, when we go to Victoria and we're doing stand-up and we make a joke about, I don't know, a lesbian, does that mean if the lesbian gets upset, the police are going to arrest us? And I'm like, this is just getting ridiculous. It's just getting ridiculous. So I just hope that.
So every stand-up comedian is going to get arrested within the next week.
Well, more than likely. So yeah, so that's the thing. But the funny thing is, I've looked at the law, so I did look it up. I promise. I looked it up because I thought I want to read this because I saw it on the video, but I thought, maybe he's missing out something. No, he's not missing out anything. When you get to, there's another part of the law, and the same law, and it says these people in these minority groups are exempt. So if you are any of the minority, any of the minority groups, be it from the LBGT, which always confuses me, for anything, trans, lesbian, gay, an immigrant, whatever. There's a big list. It's on my other computer, but nowhere mentioned is there a white person. So basically everybody is a minority group other than white people. Like it clearly puts down, and it doesn't say white people, but we're missing. So everybody's exempt from that law. So if you're in one of those minority groups, you will not be prosecuted. I'm like, so hang on. So someone in one of the other minority groups could make a joke about another minority group and they won't be prosecuted. But if you're a comedian standing up on stage and make a joke, you can get, or if you put something on your Facebook. So it's pretty shocking. Pretty shocking. Probably straight white people. Oh, no. I'm in trouble. But it's just getting beyond the joke. So I'm hoping we've got elections coming up here in Australia for new government, our main government. And I'm just hoping that our current government gets voted out because they're dangerous in this respect, because our actual Prime Minister, your version of the our big boss. He tried to sneak something similar through a couple of months ago now, I want to say. He tried to sneak it through. It was kind of like something else was going on at that time in the world, and it was like, oh, look over there. While I quickly run into Parliament tonight and try and pass this freedom of speech thing, he didn't get it passed because thankfully someone from another party was in there and voted against it, so it didn't get passed. But now we've got, I guess, each state is getting sneaky in how they do it. But I'm hoping once he's gone, honestly, the only other option is not that great either. But at least with that option, there'll be other people involved in our politics that can keep them honest and hopefully stave off what's happening in other countries. Because I want to be able to make a joke. So long as, so long as you're not being nasty and hurting people's feelings, having a bit of a giggle's a good thing. Let's see. It's stupid because if I was a straight white person making a joke and the police came, I'd just say I'm gay. Simple. Government is stupid. Well, that's true. Good idea, Heather. I'll do the same then. If I make a joke and they knock at my door, I don't know how I'll do that. I'll say I'm gay. There you
could
go.
say you're gay or even bisexual. So that way
I'm a minority.
You're like, well, I saw you dating someone of the opposite. It's like, well, because I'm bi. I can do that. It's okay.
Hi, Karen and Enzo. My friends think they're worse than teenagers. Yes, yeah. That's what everybody's hoping. I think that the main government in our country, as I say, and yes, I'm researching everything just like I look into the American politics. I'm really carefully looking into ours. A lot of people don't like the fellow who wants to be Prime Minister, Mr. Dutton. He was a policeman once. And look, just like every politician, it doesn't matter. They're all going to freaking lie to you, right? But his ideas are a little less to the left. He's a little bit more centred and to the right, I guess you'd put him, because it's very much the same. And I kind of think I'm all about protecting minority groups, absolutely, but not to the extent where if you make a joke or a faux pas, you're going to get thrown in jail. What? Like, that's just, that's ridiculous. People in minority groups, they've got pretty thick skins, Sure, yeah. I'm sure, words hurt, and they do. But at the end of the day, people have fought over the years, not so much the younger ones, okay? So I'm talking anyone under 30 has got no idea what the people before them in the same minority group went through to get recognised and respected in those minorities, gay rights, the trans movements, just the trans people. They've been around for forever. Everybody knows, and nobody, there might have been the people off to the side that just hate everybody regardless. That's not the norm. There's hateful people in the world. That's not the norm. But there's people who, because something's so different, they joke about it because it makes it a little bit more comfortable to talk about. I think that's where humour helps. Right. But, yeah, like these younger ones nowadays don't understand what the fuck they're on about. Because they've been they really don't, and it's a bit scary.
A lot of, and we saw this in the, not to get into the hyper political stuff, but we saw this during the last American election where a lot of people, because it's red team, blue team stuff usually, with very little crossover, and a lot of this past blue team was like, what the hell are these people doing? I can't support this. They're going crazy. So that's why you didn't see the turnout.
A pocket watch. That's happening in the UK. I've had a few people from the UK pop up and go, no, it's not happening here. Oh, it fucking is. Like, I don't know what they're looking at. But, in the UK, there's been a few people picked up for posts that they put years ago. But I don't think it's happened here yet. I could be wrong. The UK has got a particular branch of the police that's all they do. That's their job all day long, just to sit there and go through social media thing, using applications.
Bullshit, yeah.
Yeah, obviously they use an application to search out keywords, etc. But that's how they're finding it, and so even things like WhatsApp isn't safe. But I think the problem with a lot of it is some people are sharing shit. So some people are actually dobbing, as I don't know what you call that in America, dobbing. In Australia, we call it dobbing, like where you call dobbing, where you call up and we say dob someone in. So you call up and you go, Mrs. So-and-so down the road just did this, but don't tell them I told you. Plonk. That's a dobber.
Gossipy
Dobber.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, kind of like putting someone in it, like, I don't know what the American version of that is. You're just basically putting someone in. You're actually getting someone into trouble on purpose by telling the police what they did. That's dobbing someone.
You're ratting people out.
Ratting them out, that's it. Ratting them out, that's it. Or informant, as Pocket Watch puts, yeah.
Nobody likes a rat in any community anywhere. Nobody likes a rat.
No one likes a rat, and we call them. Over here we say a dobber, or we probably use that word now too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I hope. Look, I hope that doesn't happen. I did put Ghetto. I did put your previous comment. I did show your previous comment. I did put it up. The one about 50s think they are worse than Dan Andrews. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Yes, Heather. Yes, and Heather would speak from experience, as do I, as a single woman dealing with different things. Growing up in the era that myself, Heather's a bit younger than me, but even in your era, you're still a bit younger than me, Enzo. But you're still in that time frame of living where you just learnt to have a thick skin. And you just, if someone said something, get fucked.
Yeah,
that's what.
Just let it roll off your back.
Let it roll off. Get fucked, you wanker. And most other people would turn around and call them a wanker as well. Like, idiot. Like, you learned to have a thick skin.
You're letting the dumbest person get under your skin. It's like, why are you letting somebody like that do that?
Yeah. Like, I had a discussion the other day with my daughter about the word retard, right? Listen, retard is now intellectual disability. That's what it is. Okay, so they removed the word retardation or mental retardation was the term. Mental retardation was replaced in 2013, I want to say, with the new term intellectual disability. So before that, and a lot of people, and it's becoming, that word is coming back again now, so you'll call someone who's an idiot a retard, right? Now, some people take offence at that word. I don't, because it's evolved. Like most words evolve, it's evolved. It's no longer referring to people that actually have, like, really do have a mental, something wrong. It's not. It's evolved into another word for idiot. Like, an idiot. Like, look at the where that word comes from. Like, it's all stemmed from the same thing. So words are evolving. Just like back in the day, gay meant to be really happy and have a good time. Now, gay means something completely different. So words evolve. And like the word woke. Woke originally was, I think, an American term for, hey, it's time to wake up and see what's happening around you. That's evolved. Now woke means something completely different. It no longer refers to what its original use was. So words evolve. So I think you just got to get over it. Heather says it's oldies used to have a saying, I'll give you 20 cents, call someone who cares. These days they will get the money off you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like, you just have to have a thick skin. I know, for example, I take offence at being called a cis woman. I take offence at that because I think, no, I'm a woman. But do I get really upset about it? No. Like, oh, well, whatever. Call me whatever you want. Fuck off. I know what I am. Simple as that. So there are some words that can insult you or not insult you. Cis woman doesn't insult me. It annoys me. Because I hate that. I'm a woman. I was born with a vagina. I am a woman. Oh, and how many times do you see people get asked, what is a woman? And none of them can answer. What
Yeah,
the fuck?
that's where they just lock up when that happens.
They stop talking. And I'm thinking, a woman is someone who was born with the correct chromosomes, a vagina, and the capacity with a uterus to make another baby. That's a woman. She grows breasts. She feeds babies. That's a woman. What is a man? A man is someone who has a penis, was born with the capacity to give the woman some seeds in order for her to be able to grow the baby in her womb. That's a man. That's a woman. And then there's crossovers between that, whatever. But that's the basics. That's the biology of it all. And then other people, have changed that. I just don't know why they can't answer that question. That's what a woman is. That's what a man is. But people get offended. So they've got to stop with that rubbish.
I feel we're on the downhill slide with a lot of that stuff because it's just gotten so ridiculous over the top that people are tired of it and they're talking back to it now.
Yeah, and it's whatever. Yes, I love the Golden Gay Times. You don't have those ice creams in America. They're called Golden Gay Times. I don't even know how to explain the taste of those, really. It's like vanilla ice cream. It's on a stick, so it's a ice cream on a stick. It's vanilla ice cream with like the middle of it's a golden, I'd say maybe caramel tasting ice cream, and then it's coated with biscuits, like crushed up sweet biscuits, and it's called the Golden Gay Time. Yes, they do taste divine. They do. What's Pocket Watch say? If I had $1 for every time I was called a man, I would have a better car by now. Oh, God. Same. If I had $1 for every time I was called a bitch, I'd be a millionaire. I'm not a bitch. I just speak my mind. I find the majority of these labels offensive. Who cares how people want to live or what's wrong with just calling each other human beings? Exactly. Who gives a shit? Vanilla, it is caramel, is it, Heather? Cool. Yes, they are yummy, and you don't get them over there. You know what other ice cream I used to love, speaking of back in the day? A thing called, again, an Australian ice cream. It was called a triple treat. It was ice cream, not on a stick, just in you'd open the wrapper. Ice cream, vanilla ice cream, and in the middle was a strip of strawberry marshmallow, and it was coated with milk chocolate, but thin coating of milk chocolate like ice cream. And you can't get them anymore. They were Golden Gay Times, still can get them, but triple treats, you can't get them anymore. Those were the basic definitions they taught us in school. They changed the kids' curriculums in schools here to match the agendas of the far left. Yeah. Is that America? Where's that? Ghettos?
Oh yeah,
Is
it's
that
everywhere. It's all over.
America? They've done it everywhere. They were doing it here too. I think that it's just frustrating. Like, as a woman, my feelings on it is that if there are men out there who grow to want to be a woman, so a trans, hit me if I get this wrong, who want to become a trans woman, so that means they're a man but they want to become a trans woman, I'm kind of what's the word, flattered or whatever by that, because that to me is like, what is it? They want to be like you, so that to me is flattering. Like, that's a nice thing. They want to take on that. That makes them feel comfortable in their body, and that's how they need to progress and live. And I'm not offended by that at all, But there you go. So that's just how I feel.
To circle back to tasty frozen treats, I pulled up a picture down below there of my favorite.
Yeah, I get you, Heather. Oh, did I say the wrong thing, Heather? I don't know. I'm just saying I'm not offended. I think it's all right. I like it. It's all good. Victoria, okay. Yeah, I know they were changing, starting when my kids were at school. They were starting to change the curriculum a bit as well. But I'm hoping that goes back. They were talking about and I still don't really get it. Oh, there's a term about how we all evolved and shit. I don't know. I don't know, basically against white people and heritage and stuff. So, whatever. Oh, all right. Heather knows what I means, but my language is off. All right, then tell me what I'm supposed to say. But you know what I mean. She knows what I mean. That's what I mean. I'm not really good with the language, but I'm not. It's all good to me. I don't care. Been around for centuries, thousands of years, forever since man was a man, and we all developed. Things happen. But yeah, so yes, back onto old TV shows and off the political subject.
Before you
hang on, what's this, Enzo? Hang on,
this
Enzo.
Is my favorite. This is a Choco Taco, where it's a wafer ice cream cone, shaped like a taco that's filled with vanilla ice cream with fudge ribbons in it, and the whole outer part is covered in chocolate with nuts.
It sounds nice. I'll show you a picture of a Golden Gay Time. I'll find a picture. Where's an image of a Golden Gay Time? It brings me up watches. Bloody hell. Golden Gay Time. Well, honestly, how's that work? There it is. How do I present? Share screen window. Oh, hang on a second. There we go. That one. Share. Oh, piss off, would you? Now I'll fix it next time. Now my picture of the Golden Gay Time's gone. Fair income. Hang on.
It was a commercial. Oh, okay, there it is.
Oh no, Heather. Oh no. Please tell me that's not true. I've just brought up. Hang on.
Oh boy.
Oh no. Boy. Hang on. What? Stop it. Right, that's it. Hang on. But that's a Golden Gay Time. Hang on, let me see. That might be a better picture. Whatever. Age varied. That's a Golden Gay Time. So see, it's caramel ice cream with vanilla ice cream in the middle, and that's like, I don't know, what's the time? Just biscuit pieces or cookies, or crunched up sweet cookies. It's delicious. I don't think they've got a picture of the triple treat.
We have a Good Humor bar, which is similar to that, except it had, instead of the caramel, it's like a strawberry kind of ice cream.
There's a good old triple treat. There it is. That's a triple treat. See? I never got the one on the other side. Now it's in 2 flavors. That must be a really old ad because it's 10 cents for the ice cream. I do remember the caramel one, but it was a strawberry one that lasted the longest. The caramel one I do remember, but I've never really been a big caramel fan. But the strawberry triple treat, so that's strawberry marshmallow in the middle with vanilla ice cream and a bit of chocolate. That's just the wrapper. But yeah, the good old days, They don't make them anymore. Nuts on where? On the outside, is that Golden Gay Time? On the outside, it's crushed up biscuits. I just don't know what kind. Jonathan's here somewhere. Have you been live yet this morning, Jonathan? Or are you about to go live? Jonathan's live today. He's live on a Sunday. Go check him out later. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the man you're having on your show today, but he looks spooky. Oh, dear. What was that? A strawberry shortcake or the chocolates are the same thing. But, yeah. Yes. So, yeah, I just thought today we'd come on and have a bit of a giggle and talk about old things. And there you go. Like old TV shows back in the day when you could make a joke and not get thrown in jail.
They don't do Saturday morning cartoons anymore, right?
No, I don't. Look, I think there's different channels that you can watch, like here in Australia. No, not like they used to.
Throwback channels. It's not like you're seeing a new season of Space Ghost or whatever your cartoon.
No, not the throw. You can see them on some channels. I don't know. See, I don't watch regular television anymore. I've got an aerial TV aerial on my roof or antenna on my roof, but I don't watch regular TV. The ABC here in Australia, which would be equivalent to the BBC in England. I'm not sure what it's equivalent. Your public TV, public television. They have every Saturday. There's one channel. It's just ABC Kids. So there's lots of things, but not old school stuff. So if you want to watch old school stuff, you can see it on YouTube. I don't know where else you can see it. Probably in America, you have different cable TV.
Oh yeah, there's a
You
lot
can
of
go to. Like if I'm in the mood, I'll pop on a little bit of Super Chicken, Super Chicken. Please tell me people know who Super Chicken is.
I know for me as a kid, there was this flurry Sid and Marty Krofft production stuff, which was like live action with a lot of green screen stuff in it, like Land of the Lost. And there was a whole range of just super acid trip nonsense shows. Like that was where your HR Puffin stuff came in, and Lidsville, which was super weird. Everything was hat based for whatever reason. Sigmund and the Sea Monster, just two regular kids, and these weird like sea monster costume characters would come out and be funny and shenanigans, stuff like that. That kind of stuff, long gone. You don't see anything like that. And my favorite, of course, being Land of the Lost, because it had dinosaurs and monsters, and there were spaceships, and there was time travel weirdness. The whole place they were in was like a little pocket universe. The river ran in a circle, kind of a thing. It was super weird. And actually,
I just want to say goodbye to Heather because she's heading off. She's got some floors to do, and I have too. I've been doing daily little chores around the house, like patching up different things. So I'll be doing that this afternoon as well. And yes, and get and edit a video. Thank you very much. That would be good. Thanks, Heather. Love you lots. I'll get you to teach me the right terminology another day. And Pocket Watch. Super Chicken. Yeah, earworm. Do you know the song? I can sing the Super Chicken song. I can't play it because I'll get copyrighted, but I think I can sing it. If you feel your life's in danger, if you're threatened by a stranger, if you think that you might take a licking, there is someone who'll come through. There is something you can do. Call for Super Chicken. Call for Super Chicken. I just did. Uh-oh. Love you, Heather. Land of the Lost. That's what Enzo said he could talk for hours on, or 20 minutes at least.
Obviously, even back then, the special effects were not very special, but it was just simple green screen stuff, and they still had like a lot of claymation stuff with like the dinosaurs and stuff. But it was the stories, a lot like the old Doctor Who episodes. Special effects were pretty awful. Yeah, they're running down the hallway. You can see the cardboard set kind of wobble as they go by, things like that. But it's the stories. Stories were so good in all of those old shows that that's what kept you in. Even as a little kid, and I even have watched it as an adult. I have the DVD set that came out several years ago, and hearing like behind the scenes stuff about a lot of that stuff is kind of funny. But even the stories still kind of hold up. It's all jam packed into this like 30-minute episode, and it was pretty good. And they actually had like legit sci-fi authors and writers that were doing all their different stories. So it was. I loved that show. I thought it was fantastic.
I'm just trying to bring up a picture for everybody, but all that keeps popping up is the remake with Will Ferrell. Hang on. I'll just write TV show.
Here's my unpopular take. Will Ferrell, never been funny.
No.
Not
no. The only time I liked Will Ferrell was Saturday Night Live when he and what's her name would do the cheerleader thing. I'm trying to remember the other comedian's name, but on Saturday Night Live there would be a thing where they were cheerleaders and they'd sing it. That was funny. But that's about it. Can't really. can't really think. Oh, whatever. Allow ads. Oh, F off. Why is it you can never just bring up a picture? Hang on. I want to bring up a picture so people are. Oh, and it's, yeah, I'm just, hang on. Is that one? There we go. Let's try this. Hang on. Hide and add to stage. There it is. Land of the Lost.
Hey,
That's right. And I remember that little monkey / caveman.
that was Chaka, the Pakuni.
Chaka. That's it.
That's also where we got the Slee Stack that you can see there behind him. Famous for scaring many a generation of kids.
Just saying there.
Yep.
What? Who? Yeah. It's funny. It's so. What was it? The 70s?
Oh yeah, this was like 1973 or 4.
Oh, you can't. But that's obviously
that's
a picture of them on a raft.
This is the title sequence where and there was a song associated with this show too, which Ross side is trying to tell me to sing, but I don't know if
we can only sing it. That's the thing, Laura. We can only sing it.
It's basically the title intro, which oddly enough had banjo music that kind of worked. And it was about how the show starts. Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition, and the greatest earthquake ever known. And it shows them with like the really cheesy green screen stuff, and they're just like somebody's dropping a rock on some water, and all that stuff. But they fall into this little weird closed pocket universe that has all kinds of crazy dinosaurs in it. There's an alien in there. There's, they have these weird like pylons that somehow control the whole place that they try and figure out throughout the episode, and the Slee Stack, which are these kind of sort of insect, sort of lizard kind of people. But it was a great show. I enjoyed it. Loved it.
I used to like this one, Land of the Giants. Again, very good special effects.
Oh yeah.
Sticky. But it was pretty good for its day. I used to like that show. I never did. I must go back and revisit some, but because I don't think, much like Gilligan's Island, it just finished. Like no one ever got rescued or anything like that. It just finished. Enzo just did sing, and you missed it. You missed it. You weren't paying attention. He sang the theme song. Well,
I don't remember all the words. I certainly don't remember the second season words where they changed it, where the dad left the show and their uncle came to find him. But yeah, I saw an interesting like mini doc thing on YouTube talking about these old shows, these old Irwin Allen shows, and something that I'd never noticed. Whenever they would show the Giants, the camera angle was always like really low. Like it was like the camera angle, like the little, the normal people would be how you would see the show. It was always like really low looking up. There was never, even if it was just a scene with the Giants where they're talking about something just to fill in the plot. So,
yeah, it was always, you knew they were the Giants.
Always taken down really low kind of a thing.
Hang on. I'm just, oh, you can't see it. I hate Google for this reason. You try and click on something to have I remember the guy, I can show this picture, it's as close as I can get, but the guy in the middle, he was like their Dr. Smith. He was the whinger. I love Dr. Smith though.
There's always a Dr. Smith.
Yeah. Except he would always pull, I still remember Dr. Smith when something would go wrong and he'd grab Will. He'd grab William and he'd pull him to the front and he'd hide behind William. And I'd be like,
yeah.
Ghetto's.
I was actually a big fan of the robot from that show. That was my favorite character. That was the show.
Yeah, loved the robot.
Never had a name, just the robot.
Yeah, and for those we were talking before, I'll see if I can bring up a picture of Lance Lancelot Link. That was what the show was called, Lancelot Link, Secret Chimp. Oh, dear. There he is. Hang on, let's see if I can. You must be able to buy it on. Oh, $5 for the thing. There you go. Hang on. You must be able to buy it on. Well, you can buy it. Lancelot Link. There he is.
$5 for the actual chimp. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for the actual
17 episodes.
Yeah, there you go. Didn't know that. I liked Marta Hairy. Hang on, let me see if I can find Marta Hairy. But it just cracked me up, like when you watch it. Images. Where's Marta Hairy? That'll be Marta Hairy. Hang on. Oh, hang on. Oh, here I can show this page. This will work. That's them in the car driving. Him and Marta Hairy. That's Marta Hairy. So she'd wear different. Would depend upon her, whatever. Oh, gotta love it.
Leg crossed.
Yeah. Oh. There you go.
Oh.
Like he's an old chimp. Whoever that chimp is, he's an old chimp. I remember once we had. I wonder how many Australians remember Wally Walpermuir. That we have a paint brand here, Walpermuir Paints. I don't know if it's still around, but the mascot, or when they would do advertisements for it, the mascot was Wally, the chimpanzee. And I remember once seeing him at a mall, a big shopping mall, and the guy who owned him was giving a talk, and Wally Walpermuir was there. Wally Walpermuir was 6 foot tall. He stood up. He was a big boy. He was a big chimpanzee, and he had a collar around his neck, and he was sitting on a chair, and the guy was talking, and he said, "Come over here, Wally," to the chimp, and the chimp stood up, and the cord from his lead got stuck on the chair, and it was in this moment that I've gone, it's just dawned on me how intelligent they are and why it was all sort of wrong. But he stood up, and the thing got caught, and he bent down and he untangled the rope from the chair and walked over to the guy who owned him. And I'm like, at that moment, it was kind of like, So the guy who owned him said that Wally had his own place out the back. So they lived on a property, but Wally had a unit or a place that he lived, and Wally ate what they ate. So if they had roast, Wally had roast. If they had steak, Wally had steak.
Really?
So I think Wally was very loved, but it was just at that moment that I kind of realised the amount of things we do to animals.
Yeah, this is a little smarter than your average animal.
Yeah. So I remember that very, very well. But that was pretty awesome.
I thought for sure your story was going to take a dark turn where it's like it snapped and like I started ripping people's faces off and all that stuff.
Well, there was only that one chimp that I've ever. Oh man, I'm sure it's happened, but the one story that everybody probably knows about is that lady who had a chimpanzee, and then her friend come to visit, and the chimp attacked her friend, and like the chimpanzees, if you're going to have one as a pet, is it really a pet, or should it just be a co-person, like someone like they're strong? And in the wild, they kill each other. Like in the wild, they kill each other's young. Like people have to. They're not just these cute little. Well, they are cute, but they're not just. You got to respect what they are. That'd be the same as I love gorillas, and I still remember the gorilla that they said could sign language, and I've watched footage of her with Robin Williams when Robin Williams went to meet her. What was her name? Does anyone remember? Coco. Yeah, Coco the gorilla. And I remember watching a few things on Coco, one where they gave her a pet kitten and something happened and the kitten died, and they had to explain to her that the kitten died, and she was really upset. And I'm like, why explain the kitten died to a gorilla? Just tell the gorilla that the kitten ran off and we'll get you a new one. Like that's like when you've got little kids, don't tell them that their pet thing died. Just
we had to send the dog to the farm upstate. Yeah,
whatever. Don't tell them. Just tell them some thing. But Coco, like watching Coco with Robin Williams was awesomely sweet. And Mr. I had a picture of him on my thumbnail. It's a wonderful time in your neighbourhood. I've gone blank, Mr. Will you be mine, Mr. The neighbourhood man?
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, yes. Yeah. Mr. Rogers also met Coco. And really? I just thought how gorgeous. And people argue that she couldn't really sign. What I watched, she could. I mean, the footage I saw, she was signing. So I don't know. I don't know why people would say she wasn't. I don't know. But to me, it certainly looked like she was doing sign language and understood things. But she's passed away now, Coco. Poor Coco. But there you go. Yeah. Mr. Smith. Yeah, Dr. Smith, he was a bit of a weasel, but I loved him. He was one of the best characters he was probably the best character apart from the robot, really, when you think about it. Well, and I loved him.
Especially in like the later episodes, like especially when it went past like the first season, it was always the robot, Will, and Smith. It was none of the other characters sometimes would even be in the episode. It was just, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm just getting that.
Yeah. And then, of course, there was Don, who was in, I've spoken about this before. So the guy who played Don in Lost in Space, the good-looking one out of all of them, I suppose, the old one, the co-pilot, whatever the hell he was, co-astronaut, Don. Interesting story, which if you had have watched Enzo and I talking about the JFK murders and all that sort of thing, there was a young girl who passed away, an actress whose name's going to escape me right now, but there was an actress, not Dorothy, not the reporter. There was an actress that Don and his wife were friends with. Her father was connected, if you know what I mean, mafiosa. And apparently she made a phone call stating that she knew that JFK was going to be shot. Okay? And anyway, she was a bit of a stalker. There's a lot to her, but anyway. But she was found murdered in her apartment by Don, or the actor who played Don, who's, again, Mark Goddard. Mark Goddard and his wife, because they were friends with this actress, were worried about her. They hadn't heard from her for a few days and they knew she wasn't in a good place. And they showed up at her apartment building and Mark went upstairs. His wife was in the car. He went upstairs, but the door was a bit ajar and he pushed the door open and saw her deceased on her sofa. So he ran down, got his wife, and then they called the police. But just a little bit of I don't know, what do you call that? Info. All these things interconnect.
Yeah.
Pocket Watch says, Dr. Smith always gave the heebie-jeebies watching him on the telly. Did he? I used to like Dr. Smith.
He was always trying to sell out the family or sell off the robot or trade Will for like a pocket of gems or some.
Yeah, always happy to get Will in front of him so that if he got attacked, they'd get Will first. It was always the way, wasn't it?
You don't want to beat me. I'm an old man. Here, take William. He's young and tender.
And I watched the other day too. I don't know. I've got a T-shirt. I ordered a T-shirt with Top Cat on it. Does anyone remember Top Cat? The cartoon Top Cat.
I know I've seen it, but
Top Cat. And where is he? Oh, why is it I can never get a good picture? Come on. That's as good as I'm going to. Oh, piss off. You're using an ad blocker. Yes, I am, for the very reason that I'm using an ad blocker. Let me find.
Because of you.
Yes. That might work. Oop. Oh, well, that's close enough. Enter stage. Top Cat. and his friend Dibble. Well, Dibble wasn't really their friend. Dibble was a policeman. So there was Sergeant Dibble, who would come around and, I'm going to arrest you cats for getting up to no good. And Top Cat, which is this one, Top Cat. And then he had his little mates. And I just remember this little cat down here would kind of remind me of the Flintstones. Top Cat was kind of like Fred, and the little one down here was kind of like Barney. But they were, yes, it was just the normal, what were the putty cats in the neighbourhood getting up to?
Was Dibble a human that would?
Yes. Yes, Dibble was the human. Dibble was the.
I'm kind of getting. I've seen the picture. I know what the images are, but I've never actually watched the cartoons. I'm kind of getting like Yogi Bear type vibes, where
a little bit. They were all kind
Ranger
of the same.
Smith is the human, and then Yogi and Boo Boo were always trying to get one over on the Ranger.
Hang on, I think I can. I think I can play this without the sound, maybe. But that's Officer Dibble, and that's Top Cat. But yeah, Officer Dibble, he'd always trick off. Yeah, like with Yogi Bear and stuff. Yeah, they'd always trick the Ranger the same way. Yeah, and Dibble always got tricked as well. But I used to love it. I watched this episode the other day, actually. They're looking for something, but I can't remember what. But anyway, I'll get it down just in case. I don't trust YouTube. I always get into trouble. I watched, for the first time last night, I watched the movie, not Intern, the Interns, or it was a Google one. It had, I've just watched it last night and I've gone absolutely blank on the actors. It was two grown men wanting to be interns at Google. Google movie cast. That'll do. Cast. What was it called? Of course. I've put in the. What do you call it? Internship movie Google. People probably already know what I'm talking about.
Was it
the internship? It was called. It was just the internship, and it had hang on, yeah, it's what I'll show you.
Is it a movie or a series?
Yeah, it's a movie with these two. Oh, okay. Yeah, so those two guys, I've just gone blank again. What are their names? Oh God, they're right in front of me. I can't think of their names, but those two actors. And those two actors, but it's just basically they've lost their job. He's a salesman. They're both salesmen. They've lost their jobs, and they decide to apply for an internship at Google. And yeah, it wasn't a bad movie. I kept watching it. It was okay. It had, but it was just kind of funny that they're older guys that didn't really know anything about the internet and stuff, and trying to go for an interview at Google, and they get the interview, and I won't give you any spoilers if you want to. It was okay. It was an okay movie. I watched it to the end, so there you go.
Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson.
That's it. Thank you. But yeah, so there you go. I didn't have to look that up. No, yeah, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie, and had Thingo was in it from the Roseanne show. God, what's his name? Roseanne's husband. Anyway, he's in it for a short stint as well. But it was okay. It was an okay movie. But, yeah. Anyone else got any favourites they used to watch that we haven't talked about? I mean, we probably haven't talked about millions of things. I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched. Isn't it funny? I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched, a lot of the shows, the female character would always have an evil twin.
All those shows, Gilligan's Island, all of those shows had an evil twin episode. They had a bonk on the head gave him amnesia episode. What else? There were some common tropes back then.
No, there were, like, I think in Bewitched, hey Ash, in Bewitched, John Goodman, he's in it. Thank you, Laura. John Goodman's in it for a short time, and Will Ferrell. Yeah, He's actually he's only in it for a second. He plays a boss of something. In Bewitched it was her evil cousin. In Genie it was her sister. That was the evil, and always dark hair.
Put on a dark wig, and you're the evil one.
Put on a dark wig, yeah. It was, and what else? All of those shows had it, but that's why they were all popular. It was pretty lighthearted. It was, nothing. By the end of the show, there was always a good outcome. It was, it was fine. It was fine.
They'd build up their stable of characters that would always come back, and tropes where Dr. Bellows would always try and come this close to figuring everything out, and then how could I have been so mistaken?
Yeah. Wizard of Oz, that was a good old movie. If you don't bother learning about all the stuff in the background that went on when they made it. The snow was asbestos.
I believe it.
It was.
I guess, yeah, I believe it. They knew nothing about that kind of stuff back then, didn't care. I guess originally Buddy Ebsen, Uncle Jed from the Beverly Hillbillies, was supposed to be the Tin Man.
Yeah.
And the silver makeup, he had a severe allergic reaction to it. So that's why he didn't get the job.
Yeah, probably a good thing in the end. But there you go. Well, given that they were sniffing in the asbestos, it didn't kill them, which is interesting. Yeah, you need to, next time you go live, wear a blonde wig and say that you're your own evil twin.
I would go the Star Trek route and just put on the Spock goatee. That was what they did on that show, where they had the evil twin universe.
Graham Kennedy's Blankety Blanks. Let me find a bit of that so I can tell. Because I'm not sure, you'll know if you watch it, Enzo, if you ever had a version of this show. Blankety Blanks. Again, I can probably play the... if I play sound, I'm bound to get hit, I think. I'll give it a shot. Hang on. Hear that?
Match game.
You can hear it?
No, I don't hear anything. Look at that outfit.
I know. Hang on, let me see.
Those collars. He's gonna a stiff wind. He's gonna take flight.
Well, if you can't, so you definitely, no one can hear the sound.
No.
So long as you can't hear the sound, I won't get hit. So what he does? So Graham will
turn on the closed captioning if that works.
No, it's all right. Graham's got a. I just don't want to get done for copyright. Yeah, I know. If I put the copyright, hang on. Wait a minute. I'll stop sharing and I'll go to present. Share screen. Audio in the tab. Should let me know if this works. Tell me, thumbs up if you've got sound.
Cyril is in all at sea, yes. Cyril said.
All right, so I'll play it and I'll stop it. That way I shouldn't get hit with a copyright. So it's a panel of celebrity guests and they get asked a question and or they'll get, like he's about to say now, Cyril, which is one of their regular, was one of the regular characters, if you will, that would ask a question. Cyril said, and then they'd say something and leave a blank. So just listen to this. Hang on, I'll turn it up a bit.
He always starts like that. Cyril said, "Oh, my friend Derek. My friend Derek is so manly. He picks his teeth with blanks." That's what Cyril said.
So then what happens? That's a pretty tame one. So Cyril says, and then it goes along, and I'll just get rid of it. But it goes along, and then each of the celebrities, he has a bit of a banter with each of them, and it gets to a point where they'll write their answers up as to what Cyril said.
Wow, look at her hair.
Yeah, I know. It's the 70s. The 70s? Yeah, 70s.
Cyril would have used the knitting needles, but Derek was very butch. So
I think you've got Stuart on.
Jackhammer.
Wouldn't that be butch? I think I'll have a go at me teeth.
Good old Graham Kennedy. There you go. Hi, Earl. Hello, Earl. Yeah, so that was Blankety Blanks, and a lot of the times that's a pretty tame one.
The show was actually called Blankety Blanks?
Blankety Blanks. Yeah.
'Cause,
So that's what it's
that
called.
same show in the US was called Match Game.
Oh, there you go.
And the set was the same. Everything is exactly the same. Just different, personalities that would be in there. And they always had like a few ringers in there that were really good that would kind of connect. What was his name? Richard Dawson was a common one on there from back in the day.
Oh, hang on, Richard Dawson from Hogan's Heroes, yeah?
Yeah, from
The one
Hogan's
that was
Heroes and then
notorious.
Family
He
Feud.
did Family Feud, yeah. He was notorious for being a bit sleazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny, when you look at the time watching it, you didn't see it that way. But when you look back on it now, you go, ew, yeah, that was a bit creepy.
Yeah,
Especially with
kissing
young,
every woman on the lip, like right on the lips, not even like a cheek
like,
kiss.
not
or
only just,
Yeah.
look. Yeah, but I think it was the time. It was the time of just how that's how it was back in the day, and also he thought his shit didn't stink, like he really thought he was it in a bit. So that was just who it was. Earl says just about a full moon over here in Kansas, 1:30 a.m. Is it? No, what's the time in Kansas?
No, he's on I-35. That's driving. That's the highway that runs past Riley.
Close to Enzo. There you go.
That's right. You're very close. I am also on the moon.
Oh, oh, did he? Oh, he might have. Yeah, he probably did. It couldn't have been such a big hit. Daryl Summers was the one that hosted Hey Hey It's Saturday back in the day. But yeah, a lot of stuff. Yeah, because Graham was in the 70s. That's when you'd watch it. Yeah, Hey Hey It's Saturday was a good show. I'm just trying to think if I can show anything from Hey Hey It's Saturday. I'll get done for sure. Hang on. But if I just stop it, I might be right.
I actually love that name. That sounds cool.
Hey Hey It's Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, seriously?
I need to put it on.
Yeah, you can just turn it off for a second. Yeah, thank you. Bloody hell. Funny photos might work. Yeah, let's have a look. Yeah. All right, pause. I'm just looking. What have I done? Oh, I can add it. All right, let me know if the sound is working.
Comes from Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Melissa Thorpe. This photo was taken at Woy Woy
Oh, what
on the New South Wales Central Coast.
I want to go
to Woy Woy.
And we thought you might be able to use it in your funny photo segment we have.
Yeah, Fisherman's Wharf Fresh Seafoods.
There they are.
So that's why they'd show. So that's a funny photo segment. They show the photo, fresh seafoods, and there's all the pelicans lined up out the front to go and get something. Let's see, and then where are we? And that's Aussie for anyone.
Yes.
That's Aussie.
We did
on
that
the
for
deck
the girls and boys. No, you didn't stand on the deck.
that's not
somebody
yet.
else has stood on the deck.
Thank you. We all enjoy your show. That's a funny photo. This one's also a funny photo, and it's from Simon Earl of Noble Park. Simon Earl, the Simon Earl of Noble Park, not to be confused with any other Simon
No.
Earl. This is the photo.
Here's the photo.
Taking a holiday in Queensland. Oh dear.
Gee, that'd take a few stitches, wouldn't it?
Yes, it's a good one on the laugh scale there. The
Oh dear! I just don't. I'd play the whole thing. I just don't want to get done. Let's have a look. Here, where are we? And Dickie Knee pops up. We'll have to let Dickie Knee pop up.
in front of number one, just quietly.
Yeah, I think it might have just cracked it.
The dogs are just ahead of the pelicans.
The dogs are ahead of the pelican.
Strange bird is a pelican.
Yeah.
Its beak can hold more than its belly can. We said that a moment ago. You want something too. Kay Morgan of, not from Brighton, Oxford, it's Kay Morgan of South Nowra,
Hello, Kay.
sent this one in.
She did.
Oh dear.
Oh, dear.
Try your sakes.
Oh,
Right.
nasty
dear.
skid marks there.
But that was funny photos. But if I get that off, the other thing, I'm trying to think of people that you would recognise because what would happen is, because it was such a popular show, we had a talk show. We used to have a show called the Don Lane Show, which was our version of the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Don Lane was actually American. He was from New York, but he came here to Australia to live, and he got a talk show. So apart from the Don Lane Show and Hey Hey It's Saturday, there wasn't very many things that visiting movie star or whatever, there weren't very many options for them. So these were the shows that they would come on to present things. So hang on.
That kind of stuff. Like, we had a show here back in the late 70s, early 80s called Real People, where it was just basically viewers submitted type stuff like that, like the pictures or a video, because video cameras were just starting to kind of come out. And you can make a lot out of just viewer submitted stuff. That's very funny.
Mel Gibson was on. What? Oh God, what's the name? Who plays Rocky? The actor?
Rocky Balboa? You mean?
Yeah. What's his name?
Stallone?
Thank you. I just went went dark.
You confused me. You're like, what's her name? Who played Rocky? I was like, a female who played Rocky?
Oh, sorry. Sylvester Stallone. Where are you, Sly? I know he was on there because I watched it the other day. Oh. I don't know. No, I won't show it because there are some things that are now considered offensive, so I'll be careful what I show. Why isn't it coming up? For whatever reason, it's not popping up.
Under that new law, are they going to come and arrest you?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. All right, hang on. Ooh. You guys will recognise this person. Share screen. There we go. Share. Go up and.
Keep it going for the star of Hamlet, Mel Gibson.
Hello, Mel. How you going?
I'm not going to step on any of that.
When all the girls would go crazy for Mel. He was a good-looking man.
What is that tie he's got on? Is that
Who,
a
Mel
tie?
Gibson? And yeah, it looks like a tie. But this was well, there you go, 1991.
Oh, you could get away with a lot in 1991.
That's up. And I don't even work it with a foot pedal or anything, But I can chop them up. Would you like me to chop them? This bird is real.
Yeah,
Yes, of course he's real. I wouldn't work with an ostrich. It's only that he talks. That's the only reason I work with him
Yeah.
for 20 years.
He's a rare find.
He is a rare find. You're not into ostrich farming as well, by the way, are you?
No. How'd you get him to take his head out of the sand?
Well,
It's
I
not
don't know.
easy.
Hey,
No.
Gibbo down here, mate.
Dicky Knee, in case you're not aware of.
This is my comedy writers. Russ and Trev have come up with a line. I've got a comedy writer now, Mr. Summers.
I didn't know you had a
Yes.
comedy writer.
Did you know they are planning a sequel to Hamlet starring Richard Gere?
No?
You've got to say what's it called, Gibbo.
What's it?
What's it called?
It's called Hamster.
Oops.
Wow.
But yeah, so everyone had come on, hey. So you'd have Sylvester Stallone was on once, and Dickie Knee, which was just basically a mannequin head on a stick. Dickie Knee, there's when Sylvester Stallone come on, Dickie kind of goes in front of his crutch, Stallone's like, hey, but they all were in on the joke. They were all good. It's just funny. You can look back on these times and just laugh. Like, I don't think you can make the hamster joke anymore or the gerbil joke.
That's one of those
I
things
don't
that's a pre-internet thing too, that everybody kind
absolutely.
of heard that story way
I
before
don't
the
think,
internet came out. Everybody
yeah,
knew.
yeah. I don't even think. I don't actually. I mean, I know what they were insinuating, but even I don't know how that story ever came to even be a story.
I don't know
Obviously,
either.
I don't
Smart.
know how that story came. But yeah, the good old days when you could just put a show on and they'd make jokes and laugh at things and do stuff you just can't do it anymore. It's just, it's a pain in the ass. But there you go. Yes, and Dickie Nee, yeah, John Blackman did all the voices, but Dickie Nee had his sister called Ophelia Nee. Do you get it?
Indeed.
Yeah. And there was an old thing, Mrs. Mac. I don't know. You can watch all that sort of stuff on the YouTube if you type in "Hey Hey It's Saturday" if you want to see what Australian humour was like. And yeah, and "Hey Hey It's Saturday" also would always have a musical guest on, so which was really helpful back in the day to, because music was different back then too. You came up through the pub scene or the bars or whatever you call it. Like, groups just didn't, like they are now on TV getting discovered. It was all, they worked freaking hard, went through the pub
Yep.
scene. A record producer would see them performing, boom, they get a record deal. And if they were lucky enough to get a record deal, shows like Hey Hey It's Saturday, and all these other shows would have them on. And we had a fellow here called Molly Meldrum, who was our resident. Oh, what would he be? Dick Clark. Dick Clark was your probably version of our Molly Meldrum. And Molly had a show called Countdown, which was on every Saturday again, and that would be all groups, performers, be they Australian or from overseas. So, it was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to probably have to end this stream early because I've got children that I would like to throttle at the moment who are being a little bit inconsiderate, knowing that I'm live. But that's okay. They can be inconsiderate. So will I when it comes to cooking something later. Just watch it. But anybody else got anything they wanted to add or anything like that? I'm trying to get, Paul Hogan's show was excellent. You can't show up. His stuff is definitely dated, but still funny. If you come from the era like I did, it's still funny to watch, but if you couldn't get away with it nowadays, you just couldn't. Brady Bunch, Marsha. I put something up about that the other day, talking about measles. I had measles. I think I talked about it. I had measles when I was a little girl. I got sick with measles. A lot of people my age got measles, and not German measles, right? I had measles, and I was 4, and my mum said that they had to keep me in a dark room, basically, and just, keep my temperature down, that sort of thing. But I was watching, someone brought it up, an episode of the Brady Bunch where they all get the measles and they're all sent home from school and they're all sick, but they're all laughing about it, compared to an episode of, what's it called? Law and Order, where someone at school has the measles and or someone has the measles but still goes to school anyway, and it gets spreaded throughout the school, and it's so dramatic, and they're in the hospital and they're things down, and I'm like, wow. Like, no, nowadays you shouldn't catch the measles because you probably would have been immunised against it. But even so, even if you get the measles, just dark room, chicken soup, keep the temperature.
It's not that big. It's not a death sentence.
It's not a death sentence. It could be if you got something else wrong with you that could, or if you don't look after yourself, who knows? But certainly I didn't know anyone when I was a kid that died from catching the measles. It was just
when I was a kid, I never got the measles, but I did get the chicken pox. It was actually my youngest sister came down with it first, so I had to spend the day with my sister so that I caught it, so that now once you've caught it, you're done with it. You'll never get it again, kind of a thing. Was the rationale back then. Once you get it, might as well get all your kids in one room all together and drink out of the same glass or whatever it is you got to do where they catch it too. And now, for a week, basically they're down and then they're gone.
What era are you from, Pocket Watch? Like I was 4 in 1967. So kids were, look, you can die from chicken pox. Okay. Chicken pox kills you as well. But yeah, I personally didn't know anyone who died from measles back in the day, but it did happen. So you can, but it's much like anything today. If you get it and you're already a little bit sick or you're not properly looked after, it can happen. Same with chicken pox. If chicken pox gets in and it actually gets into your respiratory system, you can die. So, and that's where the argument of have a party and throw a party for all the kids to catch chicken pox. Okay, but you're still running a risk. And of course, nowadays adults get it. You call it shingles. It's the same thing, but it's adult chicken pox. This is the exact same virus, so it comes back to haunt you when you. Not everybody gets shingles when they get old, but again, if you don't look after yourself, or if you're overly anxious, or you've got some other underlying health issue, when your body's under stress, that's what makes the herpes virus spark up again, and boom, there you go, chicken pox or shingles. My mum was very catching it when we did. She was
didn't you used to have to? Didn't you have to be exposed to chicken pox as a kid, and then you might get shingles? Like if you never had chicken pox, you won't get shingles.
No, you've got to have the herpes virus to get shingles, correct. So if you have not had chicken pox, if you haven't, because that's what it is. Chicken pox is the herpes virus. So if you have not had chicken pox as a child, you will not get the shingles as an adult.
I thought that's correct. What I said.
Yeah, okay. I think that's what you said. Bloody cat. The cat just ran in through. Well, that probably is what you said. All right. I wasn't paying attention. Oh, dear.
That's why I have to get drunk and repeat it 3 or 4 times so you get it.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the C word was man-made. But look, I had that. It didn't really do anything to me. But like anything, a lot of people did have it and it didn't do anything. And a lot of people did have it and obviously it did. But again, that's another rabbit hole. That would be a whole, you can research that yourself. But it's now, the truth about that particular thing is now coming out that indeed a lot of people that were said to have passed from it did not pass from it. They passed from something else. And it just so happened that in whatever killed them, at the time they were also diagnosed, like a test was done, and they've got that, by the way, and that was marked down.
It was a COVID-related death, is how
correct.
They classified.
That's how they worded it.
Even though you might have died in a motorcycle accident, if you had COVID, you were a COVID-related death.
Yeah, and don't think, oh no, that's not true. Yeah, it is true. It is true. The forms and everything that you had to fill out in the hospital were specifically, so it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, a whole horrible part of life that we've all had to live through. And hopefully, I think the truth is out. Like, it is proven that that's what was going on. But hopefully people who did that will come there'll come a day where the law will take them under their wing and that'll be. But so far as that, worried about that now, I wouldn't be worried about that particular virus anymore. I'd be more worried still about catching influenza A. Influenza A on its own can make you very, very sick. But again, it can only do you in if you've got comorbidities. So if there's something else wrong with you, you're diabetic, you've already got some kind of lung issue, whatever, that's generally, anything can get you. Shingles, you get that, and there's something else wrong with you, even having that can. So there's plenty of things on the planet that you can catch that if you're already very unhealthy or have a immune system that is, like you don't have a great immune system. There's plenty of things to worry about other than that. But it's a pity that we had to worry about that because it wasn't even a natural thing. So never mind. These things happen. But yeah, so there you go. So in a nutshell, guys, thank you to those of you who are here and watching and stuck around and listened to myself and Enzo rattle off a whole heap of stuff. I'm trying to get a time zone where some of my regular viewers that used to watch before would call in and say hello. A lot of them don't anymore because I guess they're still in the paranormal world, and there's a few people in the paranormal world that are live when I am live now on for me, Sunday morning, for you, Saturday night. So I'm not about to try and combat that. People know what I'm about, just about trying to have some fun and trying not to hurt people's feelings. Or say the wrong thing. But Enzo and I are here if you want to break from the paranormal type stuff. But we still talk about plenty of stuff. Next week, I've asked Enzo if it's up to Enzo, but as a lot of you know, Enzo was in the Air Force. He was what we in Australia call a metal basher. But in America, what do you call it? What was your job in America?
The actual title is I was a KC-135 crew chief, which is basically in charge of all the maintenance that goes on a KC-135, that's the plane that refuels other planes in the air.
Yeah, but your trade, what you're trained to do.
Aircraft maintenance is what I've held.
Yeah, so but he has some great stories of his time in Iraq.
Yeah, I certainly was outside of what would be considered normal for my career field in the latter years. That happens when you seen any UFOs. There's actually been a few things on, not me personally, no. Have I seen any? I've seen 2 over my life that I can verify that's what it is. Well, not verify, but to exclude, I can't explain what it was I saw.
Yeah,
Kind of
so we don't know. But Enzo was, I think he was going to talk about that, and then we talked about what I was going to talk about, so we sort of got off the subject there. But I don't know. You can look. I suppose you got time. I can play you a jingle, and we can talk about the UFOs.
I can run through the stuff that I've got. Sure.
All right. Let's just make everybody's day because I know they love it. I know. There it is. Here it comes.
Who's that man in the fancy shirt? Who's the man with the cheeky smirk? Who has the answers? Who can explain? Well, it's Enzo the science guy. Enzo the science guy. Ask him how, ask him why. Enzo the science guy. Please, Enzo the science guy.
There you go, Enzo. Go for it. I'll mute my microphone because the dryer's on.
Pull up my share there, and I'll just skip through these real fast. This coming Monday, Amazon's own Blue Origin space program will be launching their New Shepard rocket this Monday, which will have an all-female crew. I say crew. They're tourists. They're not actually flying the ship or doing anything like that. But if you remember, like a year or so ago, William Shatner went up, and there's been other celebrities and bazillionaires that can afford to go up. They basically go straight up, hover for about like a minute or so in low Earth orbit where they can experience weightlessness and stuff like that, and then it comes right back down. But this particular flight, while including some genuine rocket scientists, some media celebrities, Gail King from the CBS Morning Show, and a few other CBS. There's a little-known performer called Katy Perry that will be going up on this particular shot. So we'll get to hear all about that, I'm sure, Monday afternoon once they splash down in the desert from that. But their craft it's very similar to like what Elon Musk has been doing, where it's a single booster, as we can see in the video here, with the capsule on top. Shoots straight up. The booster self lands afterwards, after it ejects off the crew, like right there, and it lands on its own back down in the desert, just like a couple miles away from where they launch. And then they splat down into the desert. Sorry, no dolphins this time. So, but in other news, what else we got? I found this interesting.
Yarn to as close to a finished garment as possible. Our route to that is
mute that for a second. Basically, this guy is designed. We're familiar with 3D printing of like plastic things and metal things. He's developed a 3D clothing line where it's using actual computer controlled looms and stuff like that, where it's building clothes to specs. You give them your measurements, it will fit perfectly. It'll be made of whatever you want. The way it's designed, because it'll have buttons and zippers and all that. And if you look at it, they in that little spin right there are no seams like on the pants or the shirt or any of that other stuff. It's like the shirt I'm wearing, there's like a cut here where they had to make a sleeve, which is then sewed onto like the main body part. None of those seams are in any of these clothes. It's all one big continuous piece of cloth. But I just found it interesting, and this is something that'll be hitting the market later this year, where it's you don't need to try it on. It is custom designed to your body. So that's pretty weird, pretty wild, and to see it all how it all works. So we'll see how that turns out for. But I don't know how much it costs. They didn't mention that in any of the stuff, but it's mostly just a show off of the technology and how it works. But could be the future of clothing.
How do you get it on? It's not I'm echoing. How do you put if
you were kind of broken up there. I didn't understand what you said. How do you what?
How do you get the what? I'm echoing. Hang on. Oh, it's you because you're playing. Okay, so you're going to do two things. How you put the clothes on if it's all one piece, no seams.
Well, you put it on how you would like. It still has like zippers and buttons and things like that, so that if you go to put on a pair of jeans and it's already zipped and buttoned up, you're not going to get it on. So it does have, and you can see that in the video where it's all pieced together basically as one big piece, and you've got buttons and things like that where it all connects so that it's still open, much like a shirt would still have buttons. They talk about how you would originally make clothes in separate pieces and things like that. This bypasses all of it.
Interesting.
So you should get more form fitting to your body type, to your exact measurements, because you could actually probably, they didn't explain it exactly, but I imagine you could just have a 3D scanner where you're standing there in your underwear and whatever it would print out would fit you perfectly. Or if you wanted it a little baggy or whatever, it would be exact to your body.
So long as they make it out of stretchy material, doesn't matter. Yeah. You've got to have your Sunday roast or your turkey dinner pants.
Yeah, you need to be make sure those buttons don't fly off after Thanksgiving dinner. That's for sure.
And what else is there, Enzo? Is that all that's happened this week?
Story on 200 cows that have disappeared out of Colorado. Went alien abductions?
No,
they're literally not. No, it's where that's the going thing. But the thing is they would have had to have been very clever to doing it, because these were all free open range areas on government lands where there's no roads going in there at all. Just to go looking for the ones that are missing, they have to send drones or go in on horseback. So nobody's pulling a tractor trailer, pulling out a dozen to 15 cattle at a time. to Russell. But that's the going theory. But because it's a little strange, because they're not finding like any bones or mutilations or any of that other stuff.
They're not
They're
finding
just
anything.
gone. So that's kind of a mystery, and it's been going on since November. Still have no clue, and they've even got like a $10,000 reward just to lead to what's going on with this.
Wow, $10,000.
Yep. Just a real quick thing. There's a group that is doing their own UFO research called Skywatcher. They put out a video on YouTube earlier this week. You can go check them out. Skywatcher.ai is their website. It's interesting. They've got some interesting stuff to where they're doing their research using some pretty high-end optics. Supposedly are using an electronic device that they call the dog whistle, that when it plays a specific frequency or tone or what, they don't really explain how exactly it works, but these things start showing up, and they've gotten 9 different classifications of like these shapes of things that they've documented, and they show the videos. There's some things that we would expect, classic Tic Tac, these like weird pyramid type shapes, things that are just kind of a blob, kind of pulsating, things that look like a super shiny diamond, which they call the beam, the manta ray, where it's this kind of a manta ray shape, but it's doing this weird tumbling thing. It's very weird. Bright star, which is like a big diamond crystal thing, a jellyfish looking thing floating through the air that they've got some long range imagery of. The hornet, which is similar to like a jellyfish, because it really does look like something you would see under the water. It looks like some kind of deep sea ocean creature. The hornet has like this other blob thing that's moving around, sort of like the jellyfish. It's very strange, and an egg shape that they've documented. All of it is done in broad daylight. It's not grainy nighttime video and photos and stuff like that. I mean, to be fair, some of it is a little grainy because it's literally maybe 3 or 5 miles away, and they're trying to get photos and stuff on it. If you for Pocket Watch, I know they're on X at Skywatcher HQ. No, that's not it. But if you go like on the YouTube thing and just do Skywatcher UFO, the part 2, there's a part 2. That's the one that came out this week, where they're somewhere in West Texas doing that. I was able to pull that out, but it's interesting. Next week is supposedly, or at least their next episode, whether it comes out next week or not, is supposed to be the other part of it. Which this is where a lot of people kind of like people doing is that they're also besides using the dog whistle technology, basically they're using people that are doing like a CE5 type technique, basically, I'll just say it, psychics that are calling these things in, and they've got different results. They said with every time they've done the technology part, the dog whistle thing, 100% every time they use it, something comes in. One of these 9 things comes into view. So that's pretty. The stupid Jeremy Corbell released an old video of more TikToks or Tic Tac stuff this week. It's grainy black and white stuff, but it is from the Navy. It is an actual video, but it's just more Tic Tac type evidence. This particular one shows one actually coming out of the water and bobbling around.
So nothing new. Thank you, Anne. Thank you so much. That's really awesome. Very kind of you. Not expected, not ever expected. And thank you. Much love. And you've tuned in right as we're finishing. Yes, I've got a few children in my household to have a conversation with when I get off. I was politely told by Sunny Sock, that I need to move my computer out of the garage because it's interfering with her ability to feed the cats and do all this sort of thing. And I thought to myself, excuse me, 2 hours, 1 day a week, get over it. Bloody hell. When it's their house, I'll listen. Yes, very generous. Oh, no, you haven't heard the kids.
Yeah, they've been quiet. I mean, I haven't noticed. So.
No, you haven't heard anything. I'm getting messages popping up. And from my children, not on here. Yeah,
they
private.
Can't be quiet in the house for 2 hours in the garage.
Yeah, apparently I'm interfering with feeding the cats and all sorts of terrible things. 2 hours, 1 day a week. Yeah, get over it. No, the dryer, I think you might be able to hear the dryer now. But Emily, my second eldest, come in earlier and popped some clothes in the dryer and turned the dryer on. And I thought, a bit rude.
Yeah, that's a little rude.
A little rude. Like
now,
you know.
I'm sure they're doing something online. You can happily barge in and
oh, no.
the other practice your...
This is me venting. The other day, I brought, fair enough, I get told don't buy us anything, Mum, because most of the time you buy us something, we don't want it. But I was at the store and I saw a cute pink bunny rabbit, like a pink stuffed bunny rabbit, and I thought of Sunny. And I come home and I was excited to give her this pink bunny rabbit because she's done her room in pink. I walked in, she was live. She was on her computer talking to people. And I walked up and, well, which I didn't know, but I quietly walked up and gave her the bunny rabbit. Wow, get out! And the bunny rabbit was slung across the room. And I'm like, oh my God. So was I insulted? Was I hurt? No, insulted. Were my feelings hurt? Yes, they were. But see, it's okay for them to yell at me when they're live. I'll tell you what. But there you go.
Go to the pawn shop and get some cymbals for you can practice behind them. They can.
Yeah.
Ding.
Yes, pocket watch, indeed. Yes. Oh, look, thank you, Ghettos. Yes, the last, just 2 days ago, I did a live with Taylor because it was National Pet Day, international, or should be International Pet Day because it was Pet Day here too. So yes, we had some animals on and talked about animals. So if you missed that, go back because I also talked on the dire wolf and the Tasmanian tiger and what they're doing in layman's terms, not scientifically, so not everyone will get confused. But in layman's terms, I explained exactly how they did the dire wolf thing, how they proposed to do the Tasmanian tiger thing. So if you want something to watch later on, go and watch that.
That's why I didn't cover it here tonight because you already did.
Because I'd already done it.
Could you imagine having your own Tasmanian tiger? How cool that would be! I'd love to have one of those.
Well, they've got pretty strong jaws. I don't know.
Like a dire wolf doesn't.
Well, I have to admit, people are talking about that. I can kind of see the reasoning behind bringing back the Tasmanian tiger. They're meeting up a couple of. I talk about it on the other live, but they're meeting up a couple of times a year, or three or four times a year, and down in Tasmania, they're doing ecological studies, trying to work out what the impact would be of reintroducing the Tassie tiger, and they think, because it was an animal that was hunted out of extinction and not too long ago, and because since they were hunted out of extinction, other wildlife has its own health issues and its own...
it's upset the eco balance.
It upset the ecosystem. So the Tassie tiger would primarily eat the dead, the dying, the old, or the young. So that way, keeping down the population of other animals in the natural way. And also, back then, Tassie devils, the Tasmanian devil, didn't have that cancer thing happening. Or if they did, which is another thought, if they did, then the fact that the Tassie tiger was eating the sick ones kept that disease under control.
Keeps the disease from spreading. So
yeah, but they're still 8 years away. From doing that. Hey Betty, we're about to finish up. Feel free to rewatch.
As far as that technology, I was going to say it in chat when you did the show yesterday or the day before, and I just couldn't form the words to be a simple chat about it, but I was kind of funnily thinking, yeah, if this technology to recreate these dead species becomes like very accurate or even like super cheap to do, that you would see like the return of the dodo bird sponsored by McDonald's. So you could have your dodo bird chicken
Well,
fried
there's
sandwich thing.
Well, they're not far off the dodo bird either. They've got the DNA for that. But I think from what I can gather, the next main one will be the mammoth, I think, and then the mammoth and the Tassie tiger about the same time, 3 years away. I think the dodo's a little further
I
off.
want the big mammoth ribs at the drive-through, like Fred Flintstone, where it
Like
tips the whole
Fred
car
Flintstone.
over. Yeah.
So anyway, guys, I'm going to finish it, and I'm going to try not to argue with my children. I'm going to try and just ignore it. And I'm going to go off and do a few chores around my house, and it might be on through the week with another subject. I know Taylor would like to discuss a few different like things from history that she loves. So that'll be nice. And, of course, Enzo's always up for a chat. And as I say, maybe next week, if Enzo can get it all together by then, we'll have some stories from Enzo about his time in the Air Force over in Iraq and other exciting tales. So, yeah. But, hey, Betty, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. And to anyone who has come in late, feel free to rewatch and give a thumbs up if you don't mind, all that sort of stuff. Because I think also, although I'm putting out my content, notifications aren't happening, or if they are, it just means that people are choosing not to watch. I do miss my Tanya. Tanya doesn't come in much anymore, but that could be because Tanya is also a moderator with some of the paranormal channels that are currently live. So I can't expect her to come in here as well as moderate their channels. So, but she pops in when she can. So, hey to everybody, and I'll see you all sometime next week, and hopefully without the dryer on, without the whinging children about the cats that you didn't hear, but I did. And we'll see what happens. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again next time, and feel free to rewatch.